Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Nishmas Mordechai. Shukra for coming. Little secret, two secrets actually. So this morning I flew to Columbus, Ohio. No, I flew. I didn't drive. No, I didn't. Not my own.
He wasn't buying them.
And I was only there for a few hours. I toured the property and came right back. I learned that if you want to come back, you can come back. If you want to stay there for 4 days, you stay there for 4 days. It depends what you want to do. You have things to do, you come back. Another secret I want to tell you guys is that last week, Friday, I had an emergency. I had to push off the shear. So I'll tell the island what it was. Now that I was in the middle of shaving the first time after 9 days, and halfway through, my shaver broke. So I couldn't come to shear. It was like half and half, kind of. And I couldn't even go to the store to buy a shaver because I looked like a fool. So I had to get my wife to go. And then she got me the wrong shaver, so she had to get, no, it's fine. But no, I'm not so embarrassed to say. It's like the halacha, you're not supposed to shave Erev Shabbos, Shema, Okay, we are still pushing Masechtas Kiddushin Beis Hashem. We're going to push it every single day. My main focus in the emails is going to be to get more people to come to Masechtas Kiddushin. I got a ton of emails, but Baruch Hashem, a lot of them had to do with Kiddushin. Thank you so much for starting this initiative to bring people back that dropped off. This is from Yochanan Itzkowitz. He's a very, very big piece and very instrumental getting Refuah the barber and a lot of other things behind the scene. I just reached out to Eli Meir Goodman. I want to mention people's names. I want to get them to come back. That I brought to the daf from Megillah, and Sally dropped out during Yevamis. These are the people we're talking about, the Yevamis guys. I was hesitant to contact him, but when I did, he actually said he was going to come back and just needed a push. This is the second person today that told me that. People need a push. So it's very easy to get them back in. Well, Be'ez Hashem start again with Kiddushin. I'm only sharing this with you to let people know how easy it is to bring people back. And I have to tell you that it really feels great to know that you can bring somebody back. The Torah, thank you. That's from Yochanan. Yossi Klein told me. Brought back Yoel Melech Glaber, dropped off in Eruvin. Oive is right. That's when you got on, he got off. Mr. MDY, look at this. I left his email in because in case somebody wants to email him, his email is goodmorningraboisai@gmail.com. He wants to remain anonymous. And it's obvious from the email. I just thought it's very fun. Not funny, sad, but I was waiting for somebody to make a joke like this. It's not a joke, it's true. The attached image has been circulating the local WhatsApp groups. There's not an attempt to bring Mr. K20. His name is not K20. Okay. This is Akiva Solkowitz, somebody else, but that's what he means maybe. In other news, I was personally going through a rough time when I chanced upon Ravelli's interview on Meaningful People podcast. I decided to see what the hype is all about. It's been 20 years since I've cracked the Gemara. Let's just say I've not missed a day since Gittin Daf Ches. I know it's not that long. No, it's very chashiv. If you're in for 70 days, 7 days is almost a thing. 3 months, I say, is like a real, you're in it forever. However, in this short time, how long are you in? Yeah. 4 months. Okay, you're gone. However, in this short time, Be'ez Hashem, I'm completely new human being in so many ways. Thanks all the time and hard work. And shout out to Yoshi. I mixed up. This is a different email. Not a battle. Nachman and the entire team, may Hashem give you all the kayal to continue in good health until 120. Mr. MDY. Again, I thought this is a different email, probably coming up soon. I can't pronounce his name. Eliyahu Masier Salian, with the push to get people to rejoin for Kedushin, what is the incentive to get guys to rejoin? Are they eligible for another free Gemara if they received one previously? The answer is yes. Every single person that rejoins, if you were part of this year, you got a free Gemara, and you're rejoining now, I don't care, it doesn't matter. You get another free Gemara. Now, the other thing is, if you're part of this year, you got that guy to come, you also get a free Gemara, but we couldn't find the sponsor, so I'm sponsoring all those Gemaras. I hope it's a lot. I hope it's hundreds. Be'ez Hashem. Why? I'll tell you why, because I want to give back. I have a Karsa Taif to the Olam, and if you bring another guy, that's the biggest gift you could give me, so I want to give you back a gift. Howie Shalowitz asks, I signed up Dave Schumann and Bruce Bladley. I only need one Gemara for Kedushin. Am I set to receive one? Yes, the answer is yes. We're giving out Gemaras like crazy now for anybody that joins, rejoins, and anybody that brings in a guy to join and rejoin. Shalom Aleichem, could you challenge your old acquaintance Ari Turk to sign up for the daf? Maybe he'll get his file on board too. Can afford to rent a series. You want to log some hours as a pilot command. Why don't you get instructed to make the trip with you? Yeah, I was trying to do that. You'll still get the left seat, right? Yes. The problem is, there's a problem with the FAR 135. It's a whole maisa. It's not so posh that you can do it. If you're going, you can take a lesson, but you can't really hire one of these planes to take you someplace. So you got to do it as a lesson. And if you do it in a lesson, it's a whole. Further, rather a Honda jet, a Yishkoyach, but it's double the price. We carry their hope, you do it, all the best, Dudi. Just to explain what he's saying, Honda jet is a new jet that's very inexpensive for jets, like $5-6 million. Has 2 jets on it. The Cirrus jet is based. Cirrus is the most popular plane because it also has a parachute. So in case of emergency, and it's good to calm the wife down, he said, "Look, it's a parachute." So there's a lot of people that own these Cirruses, SR20s, SR22s. So Cirrus designed a jet. It's very cool. It has a V-tail like this and 1 jet in the back. So it's much less expensive because each jet is like $1 million. And the maintenance and everything. It goes almost as fast as a Honda jet, almost as long, but it's not as good, but it's still half the price, $3 million. So you get and the people that fly these Cirruses could jump into one of these jets, not so hard. That's the idea. Okay. Avrom Perkowski. I know that Rebelli requested more Atzola members. I, F103, will be Neder rejoin starting immediately. Not waiting for Kiddushin. I love that. After a 3-year hiatus, thanks to my job, blame it on the job, whatever the excuses are. Excuses, those are excuses. But he's back. Welcome, Avrom Perkowski. What else do we have? Uri Kushner, good friend of mine, and I met him over there up in Tannersville. I learned with him in Chaim Berlin. In the spirit of bringing people back to the daf, your eBay story caused another person to return. You mentioned the name of the eBay seller who did not want to charge your wife the full price. Moshe Reich, right? I know a guy named Moshe Reich. I approached him about the story. He said it wasn't him. But they had been thinking about returning to the daf since he received very good health news about his daughter. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have said the name then. So he said it will start in Beis Hashem Kiddushin. eBay and Rebelli, what a team. Uri Kushner, lawyer, etc. The boy said last night I had a big zechus of having 3 guys from Monroe right here in the shir. And every time a guy from Monroe joins the shir, it's a big win. Big win, because it's harder for them to join for whatever reasons than their society, and they're not allowed to learn Daf Yomi, but they're allowed to learn a Daf a day. But it can't be called Daf Yomi. If they call it something else, they could. There's a different. If you sell the Daf to a guy, maybe they're allowed. I don't know. You do some sort of heter mechira, then they could. Akapanim was a great zechus to see them, and he says the shir was amazing. Life shmooze. Thanks so much. We learned a bunch from you. Can you please send me the pictures that you have from us on your cell? Probably not going to happen. This is the easier way for me to send it to you. This email isn't to be read in the shir. Kalman Yoel Soifer. Okay. And Rabbi Isai, Shami Goldberg, I guess, recruiting a guy who fell off the wagon. Here we go.
Eli, I took your words to heart, and I picked up somebody from Solomon from Passaic. He's at the Brookhaven Mobile L1, and he's willing to rejoin us for Kiddushin. His name is Nissim Aaronstein. He has a message for us.
Eli, I love your shir. I love what you're doing. I finished a bunch of masechtas. I fell off the map a few masechtas ago, but we know the song. If you fall down, you get back up. So, Mirta Hashem, Kiddushin. We're gonna rejoin.
All right, he's rejoining Kiddushin. Baruch Hashem. Rabbi, send in your email, send in your names. I announce people that are coming back. We're gonna make a big matzah. We're gonna get over 1,000 people to rejoin. Hashem. The Koilel, anonymous from Lakewood, L'Zchus Shalamis Esther Bas Bela. The Koilel for the day, Israela and Stephen Perlich. Yahrzeit of Father B'Yomin, Reb Shmuel, Benjamin Perlich. The Masechta is sponsored by Moshe Banda. Thank Hashem that I'm able to thank him for everything that I have. Parnas HaChodesh, Nishmas, Zecharya b'Moshe. Parnas HaChodesh, Bracha ad b'li dayin all my endeavors, Baruch Nissim, Tzvi Nissim, ben Shoshana Leah. Parnas HaChodesh, Dr. Avrum Epstein, in memory of the 3rd yahrzeit of his beloved Raiza Gitl Zeav. Parnas HaChodesh, Mordechai ben Esther for complete Refuah Shalema b'Korev. Parnas HaChodesh, Leah Nishmas Chaya bas Yosef. Parnas HaYoyim, Lili Nishmas, our grandmother, Chava Shoretz. Chava bas Rabbi Yehoshua, may today's learning be a zechus for Neshama and a source of comfort for the family. Tzirel Rameir, Yisroel Dov, and Oshazalik Farkevit. If you're wondering why they have so many words, is because he bought like 100 sponsorships. I shouldn't be merich in the words to explain the words, but that's what it is. He's a chacham. He made a big investment in MDY years ago when the price was cheap. The Paras Hayoim, Adam Kaufman for Shidduch for Fege Chana Bashindel Pesha. Paras Hayoim to Refuah Shalema for Avrom ben Esther and Yosef Nissim ben Esther. They should both have Refuah Shalema B'Karoi. Start of the month for a complete Refuah for Chaim Tzvi ben Leah. I got this wonderful gift, picture book, given to me by the Chevra. Who really gave it to me? Yosef ben Zeav, and who else?
It was part of the scene package when we hired the photographer. This was part of the deal.
Okay, so the whole Olam paid for this. Yisroel Gitl. Thank you. Who's hiding over there? He's hiding? Shkoyach. Okay.
Daniel put it together.
Who?
He put it together.
What's his name? Daniel Barzili, our photographer who came every single day. I kicked him off the job, but he came back today. We do it ourselves. We never use it. Shvachalite. Could you help us out here with the? No, just kidding. Okay, Rabbi Yisai, we're in the middle of a Mishnah. So it goes like this. Basically, the Mishnah tells us that if somebody messed up in the get, wrote the wrong kingdom, and we're going to talk about why that's a problem. He's in Bavel and he writes Modai. He says it should be from the time that the Beis Hamikdash was built or from the time that the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed. He puts that number of years, or he's Mizrach, Ma'ariv, who is Mizrach, we'll see. Basically, it's a terrible get. The children are Mamzerim. The husbands don't get Yerusha. They don't get Peiros. They don't get Mizonis. They don't get this. They don't get that. Forget the Yerusha word that I said. Okay. Now, continuing on Daf Amud Aleph. We're just continuing. Bas Levi min ha-meiser. Bas Koye min ha-truma. So let's just show this again. I thought those guys from Monroe would come today, so I put this in my slides. I thought maybe they didn't see this ever. One of them told me, I'm not making this up. His mother watches the daf every day. You were there, you heard this. A Satmar Chassid from Monroe woman watches the daf every day. Okay, can't complain anymore. Here, so truma is a person has 100 fruit, so they are all tevel. It's asur midoraisa to eat it. So what he does is he takes approximately 2%. He could take more. He could take 4%. He could take almost nothing. Oh, it's not going on over there? Okay, let's go back. Sorry. Thank you. No, he's just sit on that side. So he gets to eat it. He showed you that he eats it. Now he has 98 left. He has 98 left. He takes 9 and he gives that to the Levi. That's called the Meiser. Now, a Bas Levi, the daughter of a Levi, can no longer eat Meiser, which is problematic. There's a little bit of an issue here because all human beings could eat Meiser. Yisroel could also eat Meiser. So perhaps they punished her, perhaps it was according to certain mandama that they can't. But a Bas Kohen, the daughter of a Kohen, or somebody married to a Kohen, Bas Kohen, can't eat Truma, she's punished. Then Yorshim Shalzeh, Yorshim Ksubasa. Well, we said yesterday she doesn't even get a Ksuba. So therefore, Yorshim Ksubasa over here must mean Ksubas Bonim Dichrin. I should have made it into a Yidis Shas. Bonim Dichrin, Ksubas Bonim Dichrin is a Ksuba. Basically, it says in the Ksuba that if the woman dies, her stuff goes first to their child, their boy. So let's say her husband has other boys, they don't get to inherit her stuff. So she loses that. V'meisu. Achav shel zeh v'achav shel zeh cholzin v'loi miyaveh. So we're going to talk a lot about Yibum today, a little bit, go back, thank you. So this is not considered a get, and therefore she's not divorced. If she's not divorced, she's still married to her husband. If her husband dies, she falls liyibum. So therefore, we require a chalitza, but you can't do a full yibum, only a chalitza. Now, the second part of the Mishnah, almost the same thing as the first, but different halacha. Shina shmoi ushma. You change the name, her name. Now, Taisa just points out, it's not talking about if her name is Chava, you're going to call her Gitl. That's obvious, that's not a good get. But if her name in Chicago is Gitl, but in Eretz Yisrael they call her Chava, and you switch it up like that, now that's what the Mishnah is talking about, and it's not a good get. Shem Iroi. Now, a very interesting thing. I'm not kidding you that people ask this question. What if a person doesn't have a name at all? Doesn't have a name. They call him hillbilly. I don't know what they call him. They call him tall guy. Whatever. They have a funny name for him. But he doesn't have a name. They didn't have a real shame. So he can never get divorced. Or in the get, you have to write the miskira tall guy. The miskira. This is such a nidai. Shem iroi v'shem ira. If they messed up the name of his city and the name of her city, today it's a big issue. Like, I did a lot of weddings in Midwest Conference Center. What exactly is it called? North Leg, the miskira this. But more so in Eretz Yisrael, if you have like a hall that's on the outskirts of Yerushalayim and in a vineyard, in different places, you have to know exactly the Masada Kedushin, especially inexperienced Masada Kedushin, the guy that has a small yeshiva, didn't do many, or whatever it is, his first time, you should really get to know the name. Now, one of the tricks is, if you don't know what it's called, who do you ask? No? The photographer. They're a big poskim when it comes to these things. Could always, what?
Always.
They usually were at some of these Tznaim and whatever. I'm kidding about that, but sometimes that's what they do. They say, no, what do you... Which reminds me, you have to bring back Jay. Where's Jay? Jay Friedman. No, he used to do it. And also there's another guy, what's his name? He was here the other day. You know what I'm talking about?
Larry Engelhardt.
Who?
Larry Engelhardt.
Larry, but there's another guy that's had a younger guy. He downs by you in your show sometimes. Yeah, in Lincolnwood on the Ryan, Yuri Ryan. No, he still does. I don't know if he does photography. He still does.
Yeah.
Got to bring him back. Okay. So it happens to be I'm thinking now in terms of a pilot. What if you? It just occurred to me. Every inch in this world has a GPS coordinate. You can just put the latitude and longitude, and then boom, you don't even have to say the miskira. It's right here. That is exactly where we are on this square. Fine. I don't think they ever done it. So all the halachas of that we said before, you don't get this, you don't get that, you get punished this way, that way. All those halachas, and the kids are mamzer. If you change the name, you change the city. She has to come out from both husbands, and all these halachas apply. All these halachas, all these are rights. Now, this is very important. Rabbi side, this is the first Mishnah in Yavamas. This is Yavamas 101. This is basically, the entire Yavamas. So it goes like this. Oh, I just threw in this chart because Rashi brings it here, that it says that the three people that are punished, the Baal, Baal, and she. Why did I say Truma? I don't know why. Okay. Fine. Rabbi side, what?
I don't see it.
Oh, you don't see it. Let's go back. It could be you don't see it because there's a mistake in the Truma.
Now we see it.
Yeah. Okay. So it goes like this. You have two brothers from Yavamas. The Baldwin brothers. In real life, one of them is Noam Fix, Ruvain, and Shimon is Avi Kamyansky, but we don't call them that because bad things happen to them. So they're just Reuven and Shimon. Okay. Why are we allowed to do that? I don't know. We got Psakim, we got this. Fine. L'Torah. These are brothers. Shimon has a daughter. Modernish Shimon has a very Fermak daughter who has two cell phones. One is kosher, one is not. Tucked into her dichel. People come till this very day. They come to Eretz Yisrael and they go, it's exactly what I saw. I was in Yerushalayim and I saw it. Yeah, duh. It's all day long. That's what they do. That's their hand-free cell phone in their tichel. Okay, you have to come to Yerushalayim to see it. So there she is. I don't think nobody ever came over and said, I saw her with a wagon and a fish sticking out. I saw that when I was a kid. What happens today is a little different. I saw the chickens. They used to sell the chicken with the yellow legs. That I saw sticking out of the bag, the whole thing. Fine. But remember, this daughter is Shimon's daughter. Rabbi Isai, could Reuven marry this girl? Reuven, the brother, could he marry the girl? Yes! It's his niece. He can marry the daughter. He can marry Shimon's daughter. So that's what he does. Reuven, he's already married to the 5-towner, but he wants another wife. It's actually good. We spoke about it. The Gemara says it's excellent. They have a very good relationship. The uncle and the niece. It was done back in the day. It was very shchiach. Now, what if Reuven goes bye-bye? So if Reuven goes bye-bye, both Reuven's wives, and he doesn't have any children, both of the wives fall liyibam to Shimon. Shimon has to do something with one of the wives. The problem is one of the wives is his own very daughter, and he cannot be married to his own very daughter, even for yibam. Okay, the only person you're allowed to be married to against halacha, which is the halacha in yibam, is your brother's wife. You're never allowed to marry your brother's wife, eshesach. But in a case where they don't have children, that's when the Torah is matter. But you're not allowed to marry your own daughter, chas v'shalom, but she just fell to you. So what does that do? It makes both of the wives potter from yibum and chalitza. They're both not chayiv in anything. They walk away. That's called a tsaras erva, because the two wives are tsaras, co-wives. In our lashon is a tzara, and if one of them is an erva, one of them is your daughter, or the 15 ervas that the Mishnah mentions in the first Mishnah Yavam, it just goes through a list of 15 people that your brother could marry, even though they are related to you. That patters the other wife, even though the 5-towner should legally be able to fall to you, but now she can't. Next case. Here. So Reuven goes bye-bye. Both women fall to him, but there's no chiyuv. Why? Because his daughter is a erva. The 5-towner, what happens? Tzaddik, what's the matter? Nothing? Okay. The 5-towner got married to somebody else. Could she get married to somebody else? Yes. If she's not connected to Shimon, so she can get married to whoever she wants. L'chayra. But then it turns out that Shimon's daughter is an islandess. Islandess means it's a lashon of an ayil, of a male ram. Just like a male ram can't get pregnant because he's a male. This woman can't physically get pregnant. She has simon of an islandess. Her voice is different. Everything about her is different. Her whole body is different. So then it comes out. Let's go back a step. It comes out that Reuven was never married to his niece. Because when you marry an islandess by mistake, without knowing that she's an islandess, then retroactively, the whole marriage is annulled. And if the whole marriage is annulled, then Reuven was only married to one woman, the 5-towner. When Reuven goes bye-bye, the 5-towner should fall liyibum to Shimon, because Shimon is not the father of any of the wives anymore. Let me just turn this off. I don't know what's calling me. So says the Gemara. So that's the Mishnah. Okay. All these arayis, the daughter, your own daughter who falls to you, and therefore her co-wife is mutter. So the 5-towner went and she got married, and then turns out that Rachel, the Yerushalmi girl, is an islandess. She was never married to Reuven, and therefore Shimon should have been miyabim the 5-towner. The 5-towner must get divorced. What's the logic? So the Gemara is going to explain if your mom is confused. Why? She got married legally. Her co-wife was an erva. How is she supposed to know she's an island? She should have waited. She knew something's wrong with her. She had a funny voice, this, that. I'm just explaining a little bit more than the Gemara says. The Gemara says she should have waited. And everything the Mishnah said, all these punishments, she gets. Almost the same story, Rabbi Isai, but it's slightly different. And the Gemara is going to say why we need both. There's a little bit of a chiddush in both. That what? The same story, just there's no daughter involved there. What happened was Ruvain and Shimon are brothers. Ruvain marries two women that are not related to Shimon at all. And Ruvain dies, and both of his wives fall liyibum, and he can be either or. He picks the woman from Batayin. He does yibum. So the woman from 5 towns says, okay, my co-wife is already taken care of. She married my yavam. I could go marry Ben Schwartz from the 5 towns. What's the problem? And she does. And then all of a sudden we find out that the Batayin woman is an islandess. So she was never married to the guy that died, Ruvain. If she was never married to the guy that died, Ruvain, Shimon wasn't mekayim the mitzvah of yibum. The 5-town woman is a yavama. She has no right to get married to anybody in the world. She has to first take care of business with Shimon. He has to either chalitz or yibum. Meila, she must get divorced from Ben Schwartz. This is basically yavama. This is what we dealt with the entire Masechta. So she has to get divorced from both husbands. She can't go back to the first one. And all the punishments are there. Listen to this. The Sofer writes a get. Everything's great. And where's my get? He writes a get. And he writes a receipt. On the receipt that says, I, Rachel, received the get. Okay. I received my ksuba. I got paid up. And then what happened? One day, the husband wakes up. He says, oh, let me see. And he opens up the document. You can't believe his eyes. Can't believe his eyes. It says, he's holding the get. His wife never got a get. It's like, mamish like Kemat, the priest who took a trip to Africa. And like 3 months later, the family receives a telegram. The problem is that the telegram, instead of going to the family, went to the next door neighbor. And the problem was that the next door neighbor just lost the father. So it says in the telegram, hi family, I just want to tell you that I finally arrived. But it's really, really hot over here. Okay, sometimes when things go to the wrong place, you get the wrong result. The husband got the get, not the wife. The wife thought she had a get. She's holding on to a piece of paper. She doesn't even know how to read Hebrew. In those days, they didn't have Bis Yaakov. She has a bunch of words. It says on the words, I received my entire ksuba. She's holding it. She should have given it to the husband. The husband is holding the get. In other words, she never received the get in her hand. And she went and she had a wedding with somebody else and had 6 kids. Now what is she going to do? Because of Zoyver get lish, V'tov doesn't get lish, and they exchange documents, lachazman, and all of a sudden the shock of his life or her life, they're holding the wrong documents. Is that a chiddush, Rabbi Isai? That she never got a get? I would think it's not a chiddush at all. She never got a get. It is a chiddush. How do I know it's a chiddush? Because Rebbe Eliezer argues, if this was developed immediately, you figured it out right away, great. It's not a get. But let's say it's 6 years later and she has 6 kids. How is it a get? It is a get. Whoa, how's it a get? He's holding the get. She never got the get. The answer is they're lying. She got the get. She just gave it back to him because she got tired of her new husband. A lot of times, the grass is greener on the other side. After you get married the second time, you say, whoa, I made a big mistake here. Ma'aseh Shahaya by us, in Eretz Yisrael, a woman got divorced, and she got remarried, and she had tremendous charata. She realized that her first husband wasn't so bad after all. The few little things that he doesn't put the toothpaste back in its place, and this and that, Don't compare. It's not a candle compared to this Meshugana she just married. Baruch Hashem for her. Baruch Hashem. The guy dies. It was an accident. Died. So she called up her brother right away. She said, "I want to get back to my." He says, "Rebbitzin, nobody told you. You can't get back." Oh, that's what happened over here. So Choshish, they want to get back. As Taisis the Kasha, but they can't get back. It's illegal. Says Taisis, we're talking about Amaratzim. He didn't know. We still have to be Choshish for Amaretz. Okay? Imam Marty Dauber's mouth is wide open. He can't believe Taisis says such a thing. Or that, yeah, okay, fine. I hear. It's a good Kasha. Taisis Kasha is a good Kasha. Says the Gemara, says the Mishnah, just the last line here. The first guy doesn't have the right. The second guy got married, everything was fine. He thought his wife is divorced. He didn't check up the documents. She said, "Yeah, I received the document." So the first guy is going to come and mess up the second guy. Says the Gemara, it says that if you put in the document in the shtar and they get a kingdom that's not a good kingdom, Malchus Harsha, they're terrible Malchus. But my Korele Malchus Sheno again. Why is it called? They're not proper. They're not like they're Jew killers, which they all are. The pshat is they just don't have their own language. They're illiterate. They don't have their own language. They don't write their own things. So you don't put it in there. And now we're going to understand a little bit more. What's the big deal? Why do you have to put the kingdom in there? You're in Bavel. You're in Rome. So put the Roman kingdom. You're in Bavel. Put the Bavel kingdom. Mishum Shalem Malchus. It's just because I want to make peace with the kingdom. I want them to say, look, we are machshav them. We consider them. We hold to them. Look, we have their flag and this and that. Shalom Malchus. Shalom Malchus. Seems a little extreme, says the Gemara. It's only to make peace with the kingdom, with the country you're in. So that's why you're going to call the children that don't have the right kingdom in there. You're going to call them Mamzerim. Says Gemara in Rebbe Meir L'Tamei, says Rashi, who's Rebbe Meir? Because the Mishnah is Rebbe Meir. So our whole Mishnah is Rebbe Meir. That's a big Yisroel in Shas, Sta Mishnah Rebbe Meir. And the Gemara just says it without even thinking twice. Rebbe Meir L'Tamei, our Mishnah is Rebbe Meir, and he holds like his own shita. Rabbi Amnuna Mishmei Dulo. Rebbe Meir used to say, if you change one iota of the get, forget about it. Chachamim, what? Oh, thank you. I want to give a tremendous akar to Avram Cohen for waking up at 3:30 in the morning just for a few minutes. I'm happy he went back to sleep. Because he went back to sleep, I'm not switching the thing correctly. Mark Ashkenazi spoiled me by switching it for me online. So, but still, tremendous akar to It's unbelievable what people are willing to do. 3:30 in the morning. L'shul machas yavam utzricha. So we have different cases over here. If the beginning of the Mishnah talks about that you wrote the wrong kingdom, at the end of the day, it's because they're there and they're at the same time. So you don't want to put the opposition, the competition in your get. It's obvious that's like a shtach. But if you're talking about a kingdom that existed years ago, by the Havahava, I would think that doesn't bother anybody. At least they existed. They were a kingdom. So a kingdom is a problem. It kind of steps on my kingdom. But if somebody relates the get to the amount of years from the building of the Beis Hamikdash, so the Goyish king says, no, I don't care about it. It's some building that the Jews used to have. First of all, it doesn't exist today, and it doesn't interfere with my. It's not showing me up. And if I say that he put in the date based on the Beis Hamikdash, at the end of the day, you're talking about something that's important to you. Ooh, look at the beautiful binyan Beis Hamikdash. But if you're talking about the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash, the Tsaru Emeloi, like the famous Maisa with Napoleon, you saw people crying on Tisha B'Av, like they used to cry on Tisha B'Av. Mamish crying. He says, "What are you crying? Why are the Jews crying?" Well, they had a temple 17, I don't know how many years ago. How many years ago was Napoleon? 1700 years ago or more, they cried. So he said, a nation that cries for 1700 years, guaranteed they're going to get back what they're missing. They're not giving up on it. So, Churban Abayis, no, the guy's crying over a building that they used to have. No, it doesn't interfere with my covet. He wasn't trying to up whatever the word is. Eimaloi, the Mishnah has to say all these things. It ruins the get. Because of Ma'irav, he was in the Mizrach, he was in the east, and he wrote in the west. Man, who's in the east and the west? Eli and Baal. Why is that different than changing the city? That's exactly what he said. You change your city. You said you're in Chicago, but you're really in Bnei Brak. The same thing is, you said you're in the east, but you're really in the west. Elav Sofer. It's talking about the guy that wrote the get. Rav L'Safrei. Rav told the Soferim, when you're in Chile, you should write that you're in Chile, even though you were told to write it in a different place. When you're in Hinik, Daf Pei Amud Beis. Zu Divir Chachamim, Divir Remeir. Aval Chachamim Oimrim. Let me just do the sponsorship before I forget. Sponsored by MDY Tilling Group, where we daven for Refuah Shiduchim for Klal Yisroel and our MDY family. Join us tehillim.8mindaf.com and our boy site. If you didn't hear the 10 minutes of emails of all the people that are rejoining, the main thing is that if you brought somebody this year, go reach out to that guy and ask him if he's still doing it and tell him to rejoin for Kiddushin. And you'll get a free Gemara. He'll get a free Gemara. You'll get, the guy says, what's the incentive? You get Gan Eden. That's the incentive. Why is that not a big enough incentive? Huh? What's the incentive to have somebody learn Torah? I don't know. If you're part of the Daf, you should know this already. Learn the Daf and I'll tell you. Zu, everything is Remeir. I actually have a picture, I believe. Yeah. Santa Shebeir, a surveyor, it's a land register. I don't know what. Bekitzer, Rashi says more like a surveyor than a land. The article says land register. Rashi says a guy that knows the gvul, he knows borders. These are these guys. You know, when you buy a house, you're not sure if your fence is on the line, not on the line. You call him this guy. Basically, when you write in the get that it's from the 5th year that the street cleaner started working the Chicago streets, it's a smack in the face to the king, to the mayor of the city. So don't mention any land surveyor guy. The Chacham say no. The worst of the worst. Still again. Says the Gemara, Istandro Shachar, the governor of Shachar. He put the governor in, he didn't put the king. It's a good get. Why? My time. Because he's part of the kingdom. The king appointed him as the governor. Well, the street cleaner, the surveyor also was appointed by the king. It's putting in a garbage man and telling me how many years he was. It's a patch in the panim of the king. Over here, he gives him covet. He mentions the mayor. The mayor, I appointed him. There was a guy that went to look for the mayor. Everywhere he goes, he says, do you know where the mayor is? The mayor. He should rat and he should burn and this and every. He goes to the next guy. You know where the mayor is? The worst. What are you asking me, the mayor? I don't want to think about him. I want to know about. Finally, after he's pulling teeth. Somebody says he's in that. He goes. He finally finds him. After finding, he says, "Listen, tell me. If everybody talks about you like this, and everybody, why do you want to be the mayor?" He says, I only want to be the mayor because of all the covet I get. The covet. Chap. Okay. Those Dail Chakim v'Remiza. Huh?
Your image.
Shkoyach. Thanks. Zog the Gemara. Zila Shchicha. Great. Omar Rebbe Abba, Omar Ravun, Omar Rav. Zu, this that we just said that the get is bottle if he messed up with the date, he did it with the wrong kingdom. Zu divrei Avlad kosher. Messing up in the date, the Vlad is not a mamzer. In other words, don't do it. It's a big problem. But we're not going to go crazy and say that your kid is a mamzer. That's Remeir. I shouldn't say crazy. Not a good lashon. We're not going to go all the way out and say that the kid is a mamzer. The second part of the Mishnah, when he changed names and he changed cities, then the kid is a mamzer. This exact case where he changed the name, the city, she should go out of everybody from both husbands. Punished in all the worst ways. Doesn't eat truma, doesn't nothing. All the whole Mishnah. Man kedonila. Who said this? The second halacha. Eli Meir. If it's Remeir, it's all the same exact halacha. So start from beginning of the Mishnah. Just keep on going down, 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 and say one halacha at the end. Why do you break it up as if it's two separate things? It's only Rabbanan that say the second part. In other words, if you mess up the date, which is in the beginning of the Mishnah, Rabbanan don't say that the kid is a mamzer. Because if it's Reb Meir, and he says the kid is a mamzer, and you don't get truma, you don't this and you don't that. So say everything. If you mess up the date, you mess up the name, you mess up the place, the kid is a mamzer, say all the things. Well, you broke it up. You said, if you mess up the date, the kid is a mamzer, and if you messed up the name, the kid is a mamzer. So the second part is not the same person that says the first part. The second part is chachamim only. That's why it's divided. Because they don't hold that the kid is a mamzer in the first case, that he messed up the date based on some other kingdom. Kol harai shomro. So it says, Nachama, what's the story? Story is that you had two brothers, and one of them had a daughter, and that daughter married the other brother. And the other brother had another wife. Okay? It's a lot of steps. The brother that married two women, one of them was his niece, dies. And both women should, halachically, or technically speaking, they should both fall to the brother for yibum or chalitza. But since one of them is the daughter of the Avam, so both of them, the co-wife, is also pater from yibum and chalitza. And it says that if one of them, the other one, not the daughter, the other one goes ahead and gets married, and we find out that the daughter is an islandess, in other words, she can't have children, and therefore she was never married to the first brother who died. So when the brother died, he only had one wife, and that one wife should have gone to her yavam, and she didn't marry her yavam; she married an outsider. But it says she got married. Seems like, what if she didn't get married? She just had relations with somebody else, says the Gemara. Nisuin zinulai. Now, Rashi just points out that what's the difference of getting married and why would I say there's a difference? So Rashi says that when a person gets married, they might say she had chalitza and she got married to somebody else, and then she went back to her original husband, and you're not allowed to do that. You're marrying a chalutza. You can't do that. But by znus, nobody's going to say that. Zinulai. So says the Gemara, let me have to the Rav Amnuna. This could be a proof against Rav Amnuna. The Rav Amnuna shemeres yavam. So that's another concept in Shas. What's a shemeres yavam? Just a simple case of yibum. Mamish 101. Not as complicated as the first case that we discussed. This is your typical yibum. Reuven and Shimon are brothers. Reuven is married to Rachel. She's not a daughter of Shimon in this case. Reuven goes bye-bye. So Rachel falls to Shimon, and before he does anything, before he does either chalitza or yibum, she's called a shemeres yavam. She's waiting to see what's going to happen. What happens if she, in this state, goes and is mizana? She has relations with another man. Could the yavam be miyavim her? Is it like a husband whose wife is mizana and he can't be with her? Or no? So Rav Amnuna says that a shemeres yavam, and I made it into a you did a shas.
Is there any social that is involved in that situation? You're waiting for a yibum, or is it only husband?
Only husband, I think, but no, there was I don't know. Now I don't remember. Ask him. You do it every year. Saita. We did discuss it. Was it? Oh, we had a thing with when the original husband wanted her to be a Saita kind of thing. Does she fall yibum or not? But I don't think that in that case. No, because there's a zika, but they're not really married. Says the Gemara, that's my guess, but again, memory. He says that if she's mizana, it's also the yavam. And over here we're saying that only if they get married is she also, not if she's mizana. So the Gemara, it's the same thing. So then why is the Mishnah, why do we use the lashon of nisuin? Again, you see the Gemara, the Mishnah wants to use a proper language. Doesn't want to talk unnecessarily about znos and things like that when you don't have to. And some say it goes the opposite. We start from the top. We say, oh, the halacha is the same by nisuin and znos. Let me say, no, that's a good right. Over you see, there's no difference in znos and marriage. It's not true. It only applies to if that woman gets married, not if she's a mizana. Why? We have a story when a woman, her husband disappears, and Adam come and say that her husband is dead, and she went ahead and she got married based on that testimony. So she's also to the first one. Why? So that people shouldn't say that he divorced her and he's machzer grushasa. So the same thing you would say by us. He's choletzer and he's machzer chalutzasai. And that only applies to where there was a real nisuin. So people know, hey, she got married, there's chalitza. But if she's mizana, nobody knows that she's mizana. There's no kol. So it doesn't apply to znos. How could this be utzricha? We need both cases. Then what? Remember the two cases. They were very similar. One case was that one brother was married to two women. One woman was his niece. And the second case was he was married to two women. Both women, they were not related. They're not nieces. But they're the same. It's the same idea. We found out that one of them is an islandess. And the other one got married. So she got married illegally. Why do I need two cases? That one of them is a niece and one of them is not a niece. Says the Gemara, I need both cases. If I tell you the one that he married his niece, when one of them is his niece, his niece. And when he dies, then the Yavam, it's his own daughter. So when his own daughter falls to him to get together with the co-wife, both of them just disappear without a chalitza. So no yibum and no chalitza was done at all. They just walk away. So maybe, aval hachadi kaim is yibum, but over here, why is the five towner at fault? She looks at her co-wife and she sees that she's married to the Yavam. So she says, everything is great. Why does she have to check to see that she has kids or not? Everything's good. The Yavam married one of the two, so now the other one that's not married to the Yavam can go ahead and marry anybody she wants. I would think that's the case. The answer is no. She still has to wait around. She should have known for some reason that there's a problem with this girl. Rashi says, Lo yavish te sairos. There's issues here. Because her whole body is a weird. It's just an island. She can't have kids physically. And if I say the second case, that a guy's married to two women, but they're not related to his brother at all. So she fell here to Yibum. Aval Hosam Rami Kamei Ema Loy Tzricha. Okay. Gets it as a tzrichus in both and Shalema Yisroel. We can look at Rashi in here. Vitana Seivim Mishul Rami Kamei. Shteim Naflu Tchila L'Siyam Ka'achas. There's one line here. This is the line of the Shtei Cyrus here. Shteim Naflu Tchila L'Siyam Ka'achas. Ukshiziyaba Achas Koidim Shetovi Shtei Cyrus Hoylo L'Tzoros L'Hamtin. So for some reason the co-wife should have known this. She should have seen and made sure that it's a good yibum. Fine. In other words, since what the Gemara is saying is, since the 5-towner is chayiv in yibum, the way she got out of it is by letting her co-wife get married to him. Not letting, but watching her co-wife get married. But since she's a party to this, so she should have made more. She should have been more careful to make sure that she could have kids, and she's a real good yivama. Because otherwise, she's a real yibam. Whereas in the first case, they never fell yibam. She's not a party to anything. She was not. Right now, when her husband dies, she never fell yibam. Why? Because her co-wife is a daughter of the yavam. So they never fell. So she didn't have to make any. She didn't have to make sure something is good. Let's just finish up over here. A few more minutes. 2 minutes. Right, the crazy story where the Sofer gave the wrong document to the wrong person. He didn't give the wife the get, he gave it to the husband. So Rebbe argues. Rebbe says that if you find out right away, it's a get. If not, it's not a get. What does it mean right away? If they're dealing with the get, but once they walked away, zilach hazman. Why? Because if they walk away, maybe they made up later on. They're not dealing about a get. Maybe they walked away and they regretted it. They chapped it. They went on a few dates. They saw it. It's all the same thing. Might as well stay with the first one. The mother of my children, the father of my children, whatever. Just stick around. So that's why you can't use this get anymore. Because maybe they did shtick. Maybe the husband told the wife, you take the receipt, I take the get, we'll pretend we never got divorced. Another shita. Loy nises lalter. What it means right away is if she didn't get married. Nises zol lachazman. You have to wait until she gets married. It could take 10 years. After 10 years, once she gets married, that's lachazman. That's when we're concerned that they're going to do shtick. Nan, but how does it fit into our Mishnah? It says that the first guy doesn't have the right to ruin it for the second guy. Ravada says she got remarried. There's a second guy involved. That's why it says second. El Shmuel, my sheni. According to Shmuel, when you just walk away from whatever, from the what is it called? The guy that tries to make shalom, the mediator. Thank you. Exactly. That's the word I was looking for. You walk away from the mediator. The get is no good anymore. Why? Because maybe you made peace later. But where's the second husband? There's no second husband in this case. So you're right. There is no second husband. It's just Roy for a second husband. The boy say, have a wonderful day. Tomorrow, Beis Hashem at we said 2:30, but we might have to do it much earlier. I'll keep you posted. I'm sorry about this because we realized that nobody in America knows how to do this, and all the guys that know how to do this are in Eretz Yisrael, and it's already Shabbos there.